Fleet Commander Armand Hale had seen stars die. He had watched the collapse of the Wolf 589 red giant, seen the surface of Kepler 93b split apart like a cracked eggshell under the bombardment of 1,000 tungsten rods, and personally given the order that silenced the screaming skies of Turkai Prime, homeworld of the insectoid Turkai hegemony. Yet none of those memories weighed as heavily on him as the sight that now filled his command deck. Through the forward viewing pane of the battlecruiser Resolute, Earth hung in the void like a fragile, pale coin. Clouds swirled lazily across its oceans, the Pacific glimmered under the sun, and the faint glint of orbital stations traced its skies. Earth, humanity's cradle. And for the first time in 5 centuries of human expansion, Earth itself was under direct threat. The enemy had followed them home. The Vayari Collective had been pushing into human space for decades, chipping away at colonies, annexing border systems, and leaving trails of crystal-latticed wreckage where their ships clashed with human fleets. They were an enigma. No communication attempts had ever worked, no signals ever returned. They killed, consumed, expanded. Now, 42 Vayari war arcs had translated into soul. The fleet under Commander Hale's authority was small by comparison. 11 carriers, 30 cruisers, and a ragged line of destroyers. Many of the ships had limped home from earlier battles. Some still bled plasma into the void. Their crews were tired, scarred, and outnumbered. But they had come anyway. To stand here. To hold. To make sure Earth was not reduced to a memory. "Status report," Hale said. His voice calm though his hands gripped the rail of the command dais. "Vayari formation advancing," replied Tactical Officer Reyes. "They're ignoring Mars' orbit entirely. Straight shot toward Earth. No deviation. No response to Hale's." "They never do," muttered Exo Lien, standing beside Hale. The deck was tense but quiet. Everyone already knew the plan. Stop them here or die trying. Middle. The Vayari did not fight like humans. Their war arcs were living constructs, shaped like colossal spires of glass and obsidian, bristling with fractal growths. When they opened fire, it was not with beams or missiles but with searing shards of accelerated crystal, grown in their own hulls and hurled at relativistic speed. Those shards cut through shielding like bone through silk. Hale had studied every battle report, memorized every weakness, every desperate trick other commanders had used. Today he would have to push beyond desperation. The opening salvo lit the void. Shards streaked across the gulf of space, shredding 3 destroyers before they could even maneuver. Human railguns and plasma torpedoes answered, scoring across the crystalline hulls of the arcs, fracturing some, but never enough. "Commander," Reyes barked. "Line 2 is breaking. Argent is gone." Hale's eyes never left the viewport. He watched the arcs of fire, the long streaks of vaporized ships, the desperate turns. His fleet was dying piece by piece. And still, Earth filled the background of the stars, silent and unaware. Billions of civilians went about their lives beneath its sky. Children in playgrounds, workers in cities, lovers in parks. None of them would ever look up and see what hung above them. "Signal the fleet," Hale ordered. "Initiate bulwark protocol." A hush fell across the command deck. Bulwark protocol was not strategy. It was sacrifice. Across the fleet, ships moved into interlocking formation, deliberately placing themselves between the Vayari and Earth. Each vessel became a shield, its armor angled, its reactors primed for detonation if necessary. They would not win this way, but they could slow the enemy long enough. The battle raged for hours. Human ships fought like wolves, lunging, biting, tearing at the Vayari war arcs, then falling broken into silence. For every arc that fractured into glittering shards, 5 human vessels burned. Hale walked among his officers, steady, unflinching. He issued orders, rerouted fire, shifted formations. His presence was an anchor, not because he had some illusion of victory, but because he carried certainty. Certainty that if humanity were to survive, Earth must live, even if he and every soul here did not. One by one reports came in. Intrepid destroyed. Macedon lost. Harrow crippled. The enemy pressed closer. Finally, only the Resolute and 2 crippled escorts remained. The Veari arcs, though scarred and fractured, still numbered more than 30. They were turning, aligning for planetary bombardment. "Commander," whispered Lien, her eyes shining. "There's nothing left." "Orders." Hale looked once more at Earth. The swirl of its clouds. The blue of its seas. He thought of his daughter, whom he had last seen on Europa Station before this campaign began. She would be 16 now. Old enough to understand sacrifice. He straightened. "Prepare the Resolute's core," he said quietly. Reyes turned, startled. "Sir, you heard me. We overload it. Detonate at the heart of their formation. It won't destroy them all, but it will cripple enough to buy Earth time." The bridge was silent. Everyone knew what that meant. No survival. No escape. Lien swallowed hard. "I'll see it done." Climax. The Resolute charged. Engines roared. The last of their fuel burning as the great battlecruiser hurled itself into the heart of the Veari line. Shards rained against its hull, tearing away armor, splitting decks, igniting fires. Crew members braced, prayed, or simply stared in silence at the growing void ahead. On the command deck, alarms shrieked. Red lights bathed everything in a bloody glow. The ship trembled with every impact, but Hale stood tall, hands clasped behind his back. "Core at overload threshold," Reyes reported, his voice breaking. "Good," Hale said. His tone was calm, almost gentle. He opened the fleet-wide channel. His voice would carry to every surviving ship, every suit, every soul in range. "This is Fleet Commander Armand Hale," he began. "If you can hear me, know this. Humanity endures. We do not bend. We do not kneel. They may take our colonies, our fleets, our lives, but Earth stands." His voice grew stronger, echoing across the comm. "And Earth will stand because we made it so. 'Cause we chose to. Because when the void itself came for us, we answered. Remember this day. Remember the names of every ship, every soul that stood here. They will not be forgotten." The Resolute plunged deeper into the swarm of arcs. Crystalline tendrils scraped across its hull. Explosions gutted decks. The ship's structure wailed as if in pain. "Core breach in 30 seconds, Reyes called. Hale turned to his officers. "You are relieved. Go if you can. Get to the pods." No one moved. Lien shook her head, tears streaking down her face. "With respect, Commander, no one leaves." For a long moment, Hale said nothing. Then he nodded. "Very well." He faced the viewport one last time. Earth gleamed behind the enemy, small and distant, but alive. His final words carried across the comms, across the dying fleet, into the blackness where countless ears would never hear them. "Stop. That's Earth." And then the Resolute exploded. The detonation was a newborn star. It ripped outward in a searing wave of plasma and light, tearing through the clustered arcs, shattering dozens into glittering shards. Those that survived were broken, crippled, scattered. The path to Earth was no longer a march but a crawl.